You can see on the screen right now, you have there Factogon. So the project or the performance task that you will be making is simply a Factogon. So do not forget, this is just a sample. Okay? You can be creative with your outputs. Like for example, the circles there, instead of having circles, you will have, for example, flowers. So the circles there, you're gonna make that flowers. Then for the boxes here, the rectangles, you'll be making this as leaves, for example. And do not forget, of course, the lines that connect each circle and rectangle. So you have noticed this, if you are going to be creating a polygon, diba, you are given a polygon here. And this is simply a pentagon. So a factagon is simply factoring and polygon being combined into two. That's why you call it Factogon. So take note, Factogon comes from factoring and polygon. So in this case, we will be having a pentagon for our Factogon. Okay? And take note, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 circles outside, and in the middle part, you have a circle also. So those circles, you can use other designs. Just like what I said a while ago, you can put their flowers over the circles, or probably a cupcake, for example. And then the rectangle, you can have another design there. Sir, can I have circle and rectangle as well? It's up to you. You can also put background design there over your Factogon. Now, what are you going to submit? This is an example, but this is the answer key to your Factogon. The Factogon consists only of this. I'm going to show you. So take note, this is a sample outline. The outputs that you'll be submitting will be duha. The first output is simply this one. The circles are blank because those circles represents the factors. For example, x squared minus 4. What are the factors of x squared minus 4? Sir, I'll have x plus 2 and x minus 2. So the person answering this will decide where to put x plus 2 and x minus 2 here. Okay? So take note, you are simply developing an exercise or a game. You are developing a game, and the game is what you call a Factogon. So you will be the one responsible for the given trinomial or binomial. And the person who will be answering this will be putting factors over the circle. So this will be the game. Now, sir, this is the first thing that you're going to be submitting. The exercise or the worksheet or the game itself. Okay, so take note, the rectangles, you should be putting trinomials or binomials there. Don't worry, I will be teaching you how to go about it. Simple rakin as a section, Ruby. Now, let's proceed. Here is the answer key. This will be the answer key of your Factogon. Okay, next. Here is another example. So I have here oblongs and rectangles and the answer key here. Now the game itself, meaning katong oblong a blank, wala na ako mahimuan, pero you need to have that. So take note, what you are gonna be submitting will be this and this, the answer key. This one is simply the game that you will be like administering to the person or students who will be answering your Factogon. And of course, the answer key. So take note, you are simply developing or creating a Factogon exercise. Of course, you will be submitting, again, first, this one. Okay? You will be submitting two. You can use MS Word, or if you don't have laptops at home, you can use bond paper and be creative with that. So I don't have any problems if it is computerized, like you're gonna use MS Word in creating or other online applications, or you can also use bond paper at home, then you take a picture of it, then you submit it to me. Okay? Walay problema na ko ana. So, take note, I will be requiring you to submit this unsaon pag-answer sa answer key. Okay, mo na tong, that's the thing that I'll be teaching you karon. Sir, how are we gonna make the given and the factors? So take note, you are given an empty canvas. Okay? So take note, you are given an empty Factogon. Mo na itong starting point. Empty na siya dapat. So example, you will be the one to decide. First, decide on binomials to put on the circles. Example, I'm gonna be putting x plus 5 over here. This one, I'm gonna be putting x minus 8. Here, I'll be having example. It's up to you. You will be the one to decide what binomial are you gonna write over the circles. Yes, I will be sending a template for this. Don't worry about that. Okay? And then, the middle one, let's have x minus 2. Here, let's have x plus, example, x plus 5. And over here, let's have x plus 1. Okay? Now, sir, how are we gonna be writing, or how are we gonna come up with the answers over the rectangle? So you start over x minus 8 and x plus 5 to get the output here. So how do you go about it? So take note, you are given x minus 8 and x plus 5. So remember pag grade 7 ninyo na topic, you have, wait for a while, what happened here? For a while, I'm being disconnected here. For a while, everyone. I'm gonna be opening my By the way, any questions? Regarding your question about regarding your question on, sir, are you going to be giving us a template? Yes, I will be sending this one over. I was disconnected for a while. I will be sending a template of the Factogon. Okay? You still remember FOIL method section, Ruby?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's the thing that you're gonna be doing over there. So you will be using the FOIL method to get the trinomials. So what was the given a while ago? It was x minus 8. So x
Plus 5.
and x plus 5. So let's do FOIL method here. X plus 5. So first term, how much is that?
X squared.
X squared. Okay. Next, outer terms.
5x.
Plus
5x.
Plus 5x. Inner terms.
My 8x. Minus 8x.
So take note of the sign. Do not forget the sign. And the last term.
Minus 40.
Minus 40. Okay. So take note. You have noticed the middle two terms. What is positive 5x and negative 8x combined?
Negative 40x squared.
No. Positive 5x and negative 8x. You combine that. Are you gonna add that or subtract that? That's
Subtract.
unlike sign.
Subtract.
So how much do you get for this?
Negative 3.
Okay, so negative 3x, and you bring down x squared and bring down negative 40. So that's why in our example, look at our example. Kita may kabote ani. So I will be writing what here? X squared. So I'm gonna be writing. So I'm gonna change the color of my pen lang to have distinction. So I'll be having x squared minus 3x minus 40. Okay? So do the same thing with the other. So kinina pong duha, I'm gonna have this and this. You use by the FOIL method again. So take note, that's x plus 5, x plus 1. So using the FOIL method, you have x plus 5 and x plus 1. So we have, this one is how much? X squared. This one is positive x.
1x.
This one is positive 5x. This one is positive 5. To bring down x squared, how much is this? This is positive 6x. And this one is positive 5. And there you go. Money isuwat nato sa ato ang Factogon. We have x squared plus 6x plus 1. Sir, I will not be showing the solution. Yes, you don't need to show the solution. There is a shortcut on this section, Ruby. I will be teaching you the shortcut section, Ruby. So, take note. Diba, you have noticed the variables I'm using, x squared sa tanan. So, tanan na siya, mag-search yun ng x squared section, Ruby. So, I will be writing x squared there. I'll be having x squared here. I'll be having x squared here. X squared na siya tanan din ha. Okay, let's put x squared. Kay mas pas-pas ni siya nga method. This method is simple and you will be arriving with the correct answer right away. Now, let's start over Here, positive 5x and negative 2x. You combine that, how much do you get?
Positive 3.
Okay.
Minus 3.
Positive 3.
Ay, positive 3
So,
niya, 10 plus
so I
10.
will be writing positive 3 and write the variable x. So that's how you get the middle term. Oh, let's try to get the middle term here. Negative 8 and negative 2. Combine.
Negative 10.
Positive 16.
Negative 10. Okay, negative 10x. So to get the middle term, it's either you add or subtract depending upon the sign. When do you add? If both have the same sign, just like negative 8 and negative 2. When do you subtract if you have unlike signs? Okay, let's have this and this. Negative 2 and positive 1. You combine, how much do you get?
Negative 1.
Negative x or negative 1x. So you have negative x. What about negative 2 and positive 8?
6x.
Okay,
Positive 6.
positive 6x. What about negative 8 and positive 8?
Positive 13x.
Negative 8 and positive 8.
0.
0.
X.
Oh, I know, do not write 0 anymore. So just leave it blank. Do not write, do not write 0. Next, what about positive 1 and positive 5?
6x.
Positive 6x. Okay, let's continue. 2 more. Negative 2 and positive 5.
Positive 3x.
Positive,
3x.
positive 3x. And lastly, for our middle term pataha, what is positive 8 and positive 5?
13x.
Okay, positive 13x. Now let's get the last term. How do you get the last term? You just multiply. Katong gi-add na to ganiha or gi-subtract, multiply. So what is positive 5 times negative 2?
10x squared.
What's positive 5 times negative 2?
Negative 10x.
Napay te x di ay, na di variable x ang 5 ug ang 2.
Negative 10.
Oh, it's only negative 10. Okay? What about negative 8 and negative 2?
Positive 16.
Positive 16. So apply lang to multiplication rules. What about negative 8 and positive 8?
Negative 64.
Negative 64. What about negative 2 and positive 1?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. What about positive 1 and positive 5?
Positive 5.
Positive 5. What about negative 2 and positive 5?
Negative 10.
Negative 10. What about negative 2 and positive 8?
Negative 16.
Negative 16. What about positive 8 and positive 5?
Negative 40. Ay, positive 40.
Okay, there you go. Oh, you're done with the given na. So, ang unang buhato nato sa scratch paper sa maghimo ani para limpyo atong trabaho. Okay, ang night question diri, ang question is, the question asked is, let me entertain questions first, ha? Okay, there is a question here. The question is, Sir, asa kaan ng mga x sa second term? What is the variable used here? The variable you use is x man. So that's why the middle term should contain the variable x. Okay? And how do we get the answer there? It's simply you combine, example, I'm gonna have this one. I'm gonna make another use of, example, kini siya, positive 5 og negative 8. O, pila man ang positive 5 og negative 8?
Negative 40.
No. Combine. Middle term man ta, middle term.
Positive 3.
Positive,
Ay, negative 3.
No, negative 3. Butangan na. Let's write the variable x. That's why this is negative 3x. Another question is, sir, why is it that ngano sa lower left side walay third term? Okay, you have noticed here. Okay, if you will be factoring this section, Ruby, di ba this is an example of a difference of two squares? And the factors
Yes, sir.
of a difference of two squares, katong two squares na to, kay two terms naman to. So, possible na siya, walay third term. So, possible na siya nga kuha ni mo ani ang middle term 0. Nga nang wala ni siya third term because the middle term is 0x. Oh, you have noticed? When you combine negative 8 and positive 8, how much do you get?
Negative 64.
No. When you combine, I'm looking for the
Zero.
zero. You don't write 0 naman because 0 there does not have any value. So 0x, you simply omit that. Do not write 0x. That's why you have noticed here that it has only two terms. Okay? So any question section, Ruby? Is everything clear? So take note, if you are done making your scratch for the Factogon, that would be the proper time to write down what is to be written over the squares or the rectangles. Mao ni atong given. Nya human ang answer key, of course, katong gibutang ninyo sa rectangle, o butangan na pud na ninyo og answer sa inyong circles. So that will be our first performance task. So in this performance task, you are simply developing a game for factoring. Okay? You are a game developer and the game you are developing is about factoring and you call it a Factogon. So